Hello everyone, Lilac Librarian here. My PNG tuber exploded in this video, so you'll be just seeing gameplay. Feel free to listen to the video as an audio or an ASMR if you want. Some context if you do want to watch it as a video. I was fishing for orange scrips in the game and decided to yap about whatever was on my mind since it fit the mood. Enjoy the video and I'll be back streaming in late April. Also, apologies.
No. Try again. Moments like this makes you want to get back into the game. What? Just seeing people fish? Is that so relaxing for you, Sayun? You know, it's very relaxing. You love staring at the water and just not thinking. Yeah. I think that's pretty wonderful, actually. You know, just thinking like it, just seeing this is like, you know, if you were to go fishing by yourself, in a sense, but you have like someone else who's there with you. I can see the appeal of fishing and why people do it in real life, with just how calm the water is. Enjoy the moment of calm together. Yeah, I definitely enjoy those moments as well. I'm glad you also enjoy these moments. I'm sure someone out there also enjoys that moment as well, you know? Could make it like a roleplay thing. Just like, hey man, how's it going? Been busy lately? As we're fishing? That's pretty good to hear. You know, for me, in myself, I've kind of just been chugging along, you know? Work has been the same as ever, as always. But we have these little bits of moments to enjoy fishing. You know, I think it's moments like this where you can just really contemplate as well while you're fishing. You know, whether going through the rat race is really what you want to do. It might be for like certain people, you know. Like if you really want to have that sort of grind set to be able to have enough money to do the things that you want to do, then, you know, power to you, obviously. But I don't know. It's something that I really don't. I'm not really a fan of myself. At least for myself, that is. It's not a value judgment on other people who do enjoy it. I wonder if anyone has cared to, like, contemplate just even the word work and, like, what it means. Like, this idea that we have, like, so much already and that we still need to work and potentially ruin our bodies or minds in order to get money to be able to just survive, you know? The whole idea of having to work just to survive is not great. Reason why they call it grind. I'm sure people don't have much time for reflection with how demanding living is. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's never great. I mean, honestly, I don't mind work myself, but like having to work, like being forced to work, otherwise you don't have a way to live, feels kind of wrong to me, you know? Out of surviving, when am I going to get to thriving, you know? Yeah, exactly. And honestly, we might not in our lifetimes, which, you know, not a great thought to think about, really. I mean, we also need to think what amount will be enough to make us happy. Like, at what point are we going to be like, wow, this is me definitely thriving, you know? When will it be enough? Will it ever be enough? Do you want it to be enough, you know? I mean, these are questions that you're going to have to ask yourself anyway, because you are the only one who is able to answer them as well. Also, ads are here. Sorry about the ads. Not the ads. Yeah. Sadly, the ads. Another thing that we also have to think about being constantly marketed towards. There's always something that you have to buy or spend money towards. And you know, sometimes you don't want to have to buy things, but with the way things are, it's kind of like sort of pervasive in life as well, since you're not guaranteed anything. Like, you don't have any guarantees to food or shelter or the things that you need, just even basically. So you basically have to sell yourself in order to meet those what are basic needs that we've basically learned to fulfill, you know? I don't think a lot of people think about that, and maybe they don't have time to think about it. But it would be nice to think about it at least a little. I mean, people can use the opportunity now to think. Like, if you're here on Twitch or on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, because this will probably be a thing on YouTube, why not take the time to think, you know? I mean, you're watching this now. Why not think about, you know, why the world is the way it is now, and whether you're happy with how things are and how you are as well. Me, myself, I'm enjoying grabbing fish here in a virtual game. I don't mind. I like it. I'm pretty happy now as it is. Whee! It's frightening to think about. I think that's more of a reason to think about it. Because if you're going to continuously run away from the concern, you're never going to solve it, right? You're just there to run away. And also, after you think about it, what steps do you need to take with things like this? It's kind of annoying, but I actually watched a little video before about how money works and things like that. And there was basically a line in one of the videos that was just like, if you want to get rich or ahead in life, it's not how hard you work, but on where you invest money, sadly. So even work might not be as rewarding as you think it is, which is a messed up thing to really say. I think work should always be worth more than whatever people invest in, really. Labor should always be worth more than investment. I hope people don't, like, watch stuff idly as well, but also take the time to do things as well. You know, sometimes we just want to have passive content and not think about things, but, you know, how often are you going to just keep watching passive content, you know? I know I might say this to, like, my own detriment, but, you know, it doesn't really matter to me in the grand scheme of things. You know, I'm not here to make money off of people. It also sucks that I don't have my PNG tuber up while I say this. Otherwise, it would be so much better. That's okay. I'm hoping I will get a PNG tuber up by the next time I stream. Yeah, thank you for the pet. Yeah, thank you also for the pet, Data. I hope you are doing okay. Ziz, still sleeping? Well, that's good. I hope you are resting very well. Honestly, this is some pretty good sleepy content. If you want to use this to sleep as well, whether it will be up on YouTube or right now on Twitch. I just need an actual ASMR microphone and probably a better setup. Actually, speaking of a better setup, I'm hoping to make my own desk soon so I can get a better audio setup. Once that happens, then things can get rolling. My god, is this another copper shark? Wow, I'm just so lucky. Actually, let me have a look at this. Help that reminders? No, not reminders. Man, I'm not getting any forgotten ones. Nope. Need to use ambitious lure. That's my bad. Hi, just so lucky. Are you saying, are you just making dad jokes at this point? You know, I don't want to really also be like an ASMR just an ASMR YouTuber or a streamer, because that can really limit you into your niche like really quickly. Like, if you are an ASM artist, that is pretty much all you will get. Like, ASMR is kind of a dead wall in terms of, like, content creation-wise and, like, having an audience reach. Not making bad jokes, I don't think so. I mean, I said I was just so lucky at the point of getting copper sharks constantly, and you're just like, I'm just so lucky. So Lex said you just reacted without thinking about it. Oh, well, that's good. That's definitely good to hear. We have 19 minutes, at least this window of copper shark. Oh yeah, I should be waiting for the gentle giant stirs beneath the water. That's my bad. I might be using too many ghost nipper lures because of that. Yeah, that's a fair amount used up. Oh well. We'll see. But I don't know. I think people are old enough to determine whether they need to be relaxed and whether if they need to really think about hard things. You can't be relaxed all the time. Oh, forgotten one price catch. Let's have a look here. Lagged a little. Well, that's okay. You know, I've been thinking about moving the current jobs that I have at the moment. And I've also been thinking whether I should go back into things like translating or interpreting. Might be pretty fun. But I think for the moment I just kind of want something simple enough like accounting just to have a look at it. And I think that would be pretty cool to also utilize in VTubing as well. I think it would be pretty cool to just have like potentially fun content that exists with that. You had a chicken sandwich season? Yeah. That sounds amazing. Hope you sleep well. You would have quite a few transferable skills towards VTubing? Yeah, it certainly would. That's for certain. I don't know if there is a market for it, really. There might be. I mean, you won't know until you market yourself, really. You don't know how to tube? There's a lot of places where you can learn to tube if you need to. A hidden untapped market? There are a fair amount of goo VTubers that exist. I just want you to know. You can look for them. They exist. Surface slab, price catch, audio, cost. I'm sure the market isn't either prominently displayed or necessary, but untouched. Oh man, speaking of industry, there's a lot of talk, like, you know, behind the scenes about how VTubing really isn't an industry, but it's more of a medium, rather. I don't know. There's a lot of discussion about how toxic the ENV tubing space is and how unviable it is for potential marketing of things. Well, over in a number of private ventures. Yeah, it's what I've heard from at least from someone that I know who has her ear to the ground on the big ENV tubing spaces. I don't know why, really. I think it's a mix of the most like popular VTubers like just not knowing that, like, you know, once you get to a popular size, it becomes less about the friend aspect of it and more about the business professional side of it. Like there's a fair amount of like really popular VTubers who are just not professional, like in any sort of capacity. Like the way they act and react to certain things comes off as unprofessional, and you know, people, at least money-wise, the people don't see it as a worthwhile investment, I guess, to try and like business-wise monetize the space. It's also tricky too because VTubing is a very creative heavy aspect. Like, it's a very creative heavy medium as opposed to other mediums that exist. Whereas a lot of other pieces of media have been professionalized slash went business wise. Think of things like newspapers, television, movies, things like that. All have become a lot more professional than creative. Like you can see a lot more professional mindset of people are in the industries rather than creatives. Marketing is also difficult to develop around. Yes, it is also inherently niche because oh wait, actually, you know what? I should say PNG tuber broken. Sorry, I can add that into the actual title just to let other people know, because I completely forgot that that I could just do that, especially with the tag that I have here. But yes, VTubing in of itself is already a niche. A lot of people aren't used to sort of fictional avatars yet, just as a general rule. And like, there's the bigger general public isn't really into that whole cartoony anime style, and it probably won't for a fair amount of it either. But that's kind of hard to really change as a VTuber. That has to be a sort of cultural shift that needs to happen. And those types of cultural shifts usually happen with those who have a fair amount of money to throw around. And sadly, those who show themselves in reality will obviously get just more attention in general. It's just how it is. The fact that there are like notable people in the space have issues about it doesn't help either, but that's not to say like all of them have issues. Actually, that reminds me of a time. I think I remember hearing someone say that Iron Mouse was in the news, like in like sort of mainstream news, and apparently like reactions of normies of people like Iron Mouse is something like, wow, that's creepy, or wow, that's disgusting, which is very interesting. You remember hearing about this? Yeah. It was a thing that I mentioned in Blue Sky a little bit ago. It's deep down there somewhere. I have no idea why, to be honest. I think there's a lot of people put off by things like anime and cartoons as either like childish media, or oddly enough, I've also heard some takes of people thinking people who VTube are only like people who are pedophiles and stuff, and it's so weird. I have no idea why that's the case. Curious to like get into the minds of like some of these people, why they have that sort of image when it comes to anime or anything like even like anime adjacent, basically. Very interesting. But even in like the VTuber subculture, if you want to call it a subculture, there are some hierarchies also in an, especially if you want to go like popularity wise. Like just trying to think. Oh, did I surface slap already? Hold on. If I surface slapped, then I'll just do that. If you're a furry VTuber, you will probably have a ceiling. Like if you like there is a known thing in the furry community. Like if you're a furry VTuber, there is a ceiling, and you either have to switch to be a human, or otherwise you just won't get above a certain threshold. And then after you do like a human VTube, you'll get to a threshold, and then the threshold is, okay, you need to not be a VTuber if you want to get above that threshold. And then it's just like,